In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on a term I've instantiated called existentializing. And existentializing is something that pertains to deepening our own subjective, individual, soul, separate self-understanding of ourselves when we ask specific questions directly and indirectly related to our existence, and that requires us to go on this journey that is deeply psychological. And when I say that, it pertains not just to, say, our direct perceptions, but it goes deeper than that. It connects the subjective-objective relationships that represent the world around us in regards to the mental representations of our mind, and which we mentalize and create these categories of existence, but which also pertain to the self that we want to be in regards to our actual self and our ideal self, and how we can calibrate those two into alignment, but also the various elements of existence that are resistant to that and that can also shift and create turbulence within our existence, and which get us to engage meaningful emotions and sometimes a sense of meaninglessness and arbitrariness, and contemplating why we're even in the pursuit of trying to create anything meaningful at all, and why it's even purposeful or meaningful and engages a deeper sense of meaningfulness, because sometimes what is really truly deeply meaningful in one moment, the next day something happens, an event, or we encounter an individual who seems to be at everything we do nitpicking at us and protesting the very meanings that we have created, and sometimes destroying them. And that can create a sense of triviality and set us behind in life, or be very frustrating and create a sense of futility that we have to confront the absurdity of life. And that absurdity is a challenge to whether or not we continue to pursue this existentializing striving forward, in which we have to journey and create the meanings anew, or to rebirth them. And oftentimes the rebirth requires some sort of introduction of awesome emotions that help us to exceed the prior existing meanings of existence, in which new meanings can emerge and be connective even to sometimes the old meanings, in which we can sometimes restore prior existing meanings, but sometimes we don't have access to those meanings. And what happens is we can develop meanings that are familiar and highly similar, but are meaningfully different and meaningfully similar at the same time, as we engage specific questions in a dynamical quest, and one that requires us to journey in what is these well-defined meaning interpretations that require us to create and engage in two specific processes: a meaningfulness process that is more related to our feelings, the way we think and cognize and perceive, our direct perceptions, and how we can develop our meaningful emotion and a greater sense of self-intelligence, but also a broader, deeper, more depth expanding expansivenesses of self-intelligence processes that allow us to increase our self-awareness, but also knowledge in regards to the self, and a masterfulness that's boundness to the situatedness of our existence, in which allows us to be more cognitively flexible in various situations, but most importantly psychologically flexible in regards to these terms associated with meaning interpretations, that we can connect these representative associativities that are encompassed within terminological associativities, in which there are more of these objective and direct and indirect meaningful associations, but which we can become more analytical with regards to our thinking and engage a maturation of knowledge process, but at the same time still tap into that poetic aspect of existence as we're engaging these meaningfulness processes. And you probably may have had an insight as I was saying that, if you're somebody who tends to be more of a deeper thinker. And where I'm going to with this, as the second process pertains to a thoughtfulness process, and a thoughtfulness process that tends to develop our thoughts, but also engage in a higher order cognitive process that comes out of that developmental process, which is a meaningfully different process, which is an elaboration process of knowledge, in which we're more engaging in well-defined definitions that we are existentializing our own meaning interpretations into, and creating an access of knowledge that's easier to access. Specific constitute knowledge within knowledge processes that constitute knowledge and meaning interpretations meaningfully regarding specific meaningful emotions that we have access to in our existentializing journeys. And that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you have an awesome one. Enjoy. Bye.